He comes from a living that is placid. It is why he is made in the fashion that he is. But, as any calm pond, there are times of when the waters are troubled by outside forces. He is a sensitive man in terms of being very aware of what is happening around him and the principles that are being put into execution, shattering the beautiful stature established years ago with divine intentions by those before him. He is young and he sees his family slipping away by chaos in causing a disorder that will in time kill the common morality of the union, revealing that there was never a union, and it has done so. He comes to see that his life has been designed in a way that most would say would be emotionally eccentric or non-feeling, when his purpose is inspired by being able to feel the universal sorrows of the world and not just his own. His own sorrows are his least interest, even though he struggles with them from time to time. He is given a wisdom which holds him in internal humility, even though he speaks and writes with fire. He remains governed by his Creator, because he has been made known that self-control is nothing more or less than man trying to control himself. A gift that he has forever, during the course of this world's historical account, has failed to do. His control for self-domination of the world is his own self-interest, and therefore, his self-control is truly rooted in controlling all of man and womankind. To be governed is equated to being led. It is him being led into what he fears, what hurts him, and what almost tries to cause in him thoughts of self-destruction. During the storm and its high winds, there are times of when he cries out because the pain of losing and the will to hold on to what is not meant to be for him. It burns his inner hands that clench too hard upon the past that is truly in death. He yet has not yet understood how much he is truly in the moment of gaining, in his losing what holds him captive. He looks around for counsel, and there is made created available by his Creator no one for him to rely upon. He grieves in his lack of understanding, while in the same movement, his Creator is giving him the truth that there is no one else for him to rely upon, other than the Creator alone, who have since the beginning of his birth of life consciousness in the eternal, has already given him the truth, the wisdom, the strength, the endurance and the intelligence to survive and to move forwards. Yes, still in a love unable to be broken and never shattered into a valley of hatred. He has tried to live in that valley through his pains, his struggles, and yet he has come to know that those feelings of insecurity are simply not a task of evolution, but only an empty form of a revolution that he will in time come to understand, only imprisons him more surely as the beast desires. He has continued to be led forwards, while in the same movement, healing is taking place, because he is slowly coming into clarity. The fire of misunderstanding and frustration becomes less and less because of clarity upon the dawning of his heart and mind. He is being made over again because he is dying to what was him in the past, and is maturing into who he coming to be without effort, without question and without interference in terms of pointless knowledge formed into vain questions and theologies. He walks alone inside the love and will of his Creator. He walks into many valleys, into many hearts and minds that are wounded with the answers of healing. The clarity in which comes out of him, because he has died to himself. He has moved out of the way and have in the same act, become one movement, one will of the Creator. His life comes to make its purpose known to him and he listens attentively. He has no regrets of losing anyone, because he understands the root of his gains is in losing. He has no more pain. He has no more confusion, and no more individuality, because there is love inside that keeps him whole, sound of mind and spirit. He walks alone for you and only thinking of you in terms of being a good example of his being. He lets go to what is commonly determined of his life, because of knowing now that his life has been designed outside of the demands of tradition and of culture. They only enslaves the human condition. He walks alone in peace. He walks alone for humanity. One of the biggest lies has been that we have to look outside of your inner self for our healing. The presence of our pains is a direct indication that healing is taking place. It holds the beauty within time. Pain, suffering and healing are of the same movement. You are never forsaken, because the two of those, pain and healing, are one. The immense propensity of the mind is truly a significant gift imbued inside of all of us by the Creator. The power that we possess within the choice itself is the powerful gift of healing if honestly embraced with the desire for inner contentment which is founded in love. We can turn everything off that is burdening us. It is a choice. We have to choose to no longer burden ourselves with the pains of the past and end the betrayal of our present, where love truly abides. The choice for the healing to take its course inside depends upon our love for peace and humility, and not consistently dwelling of the conflicts in which accompany and maintain pain and sorrow. Choose to no longer burden yourself with what has already happened. The harsh past holds no value within the present moment unless it has learned you for more clarity of what is about you. Release all of the pain and the regrets, and you will come to know that the effects of the past do not burden us. We tend to burden ourselves. It's time. We only hurt because we are in the process of healing. So, let the healing take its course, endure and get that wisdom.
As one ventures into the realm of study, which in fact begins from the very spark of intellect, which is a time of ungoverned observation, a time untouched by the ideologies of man. This is before the time of institutional required education, which is in truth enforced without our consent. One finds themselves, after receiving a measure of information, made curious to venture to what they think is forwards motion onto better horizons, blind to the reality that they have not chosen their own direction of interest. It was dictated by the powers that be. Considering observing the cause and effect of established education, each study is imbued with an ingredient that encourages a further curiosity of the host to be seduced through their own sense of interest and betterment, to be diverted into a direction within, to be insidiously beneficial for the system's agenda. The mind has already been germinated as a wicked patriotic seed by way of learning the pledge allegiance first, before being able to be instructed of knowing of how to read and to write. A verbal education of a submission-related stance before being taught of what is apt to keep the monster growling and forever overpowering. The host is given a default religious-based formula for the balance of a system which has forever revealed herself to be one of cold and unyielding hypocrisy. The evil doctrine of patriotism and religion has been implemented from the shadows of the Crusades as the source which gives balance to the entire state of being in regards to the mentality of the country's common asserted good. This system cultivates a religious instituted people who in their claimed search for truth are only in fact interested not in the enlightenment of the facts, but the search for validation of what they have already concluded as what is right to them. They are not in search for the truth, but are in reality searching to fill in the void of personal gratification. They are only interested in self-validation. The validation of that teaching and those like-minded people who will cause them to feel assured of their conclusions, as this reveals their uncertainty as a group of people who assert to not be of the cultist mentality. The grouping of the minds based upon the agreement of believing in the same constitution merits a cult of people who are professing a divine love, until someone inside of the union comes to another conclusion of that same constitution that compromises the previous perception. This ignites the language of the we believe instead of we know. The belief of a doctrine will never create a people who are in total agreement, because the truth, which is said to be making them free, has yet to free them all from various point of views which clash one perception into the other. This is the confusion which is not supposed to be rooted in God. However, religion has forever been the author of confusion and never that of peace. Does one desire to be enlightened of the facts? Or does he or she desire to search for an understanding that will be sitting ready for their sense of self-validation that they personally assert is the truth to them? Has the truth to your own understanding been that which unify the rest of the religious world whom observe the same material? Or does it create further divisiveness among the flock of so-called brothers and sisters who are a prime agitator of a fragmented community of searchers of a truth, which each one claims they have already found? One thing is very certain: time will be that which will bring the resolve to those self-absorbed souls who spend the majority of their lives trying to condemn others, while in this act have only condemned themselves. The leaving of the chaotic religious environment has forever been the resolve, as history has shown in its expression of religious doctrine and its effect. It has never created the world peace that it has forever claimed to hold dear, but only advocate the world being ordained to go into the same darkness that they spent all of their hours of worship condemning.